Helen,
And I'm Liz,
and we're sisters
scientists,
and lifelong X-Files fans.
and this is We Want to Believe.
All right. So another episode.
Another episode, and I have a few updates before we begin talking about
Ooh.
Excelsis Dei? Dei?
Dei
Dei? Sure.
in Excelsis Dei. I don't need to sing.
Yeah,
But yeah.
that's a song. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So I have three things. The
Okay.
first is I just want to let everyone know that I called my dentist to complain after my dental hygienist was bothersome to me in a number of ways.
That's great. Oh my God. What happened? What did they say?
So they said that the woman I spoke to said it was a temp, so her name wasn't on the record, but she could talk to her manager and find out who it was, and they're going to make a note in my file that I will never have to see her again. And then I went and I got my two fillings and my crown, which was a long process, but it wasn't altogether bad. And it wasn't a hygienist, it was an assistant. It was because it was a bigger procedure who handled it, was totally good and did not touch my shoulders or mouth unnecessarily, nor shame me for eating sugar as she assumed, nor anything else.
Oh, that's awesome. Good.
Yeah. So I
Good.
feel good about it. I explained the details. The woman took them down. I'm
Good.
Honestly, it is only because I talked about it on the podcast that I felt like I had to call and report it so that I could tell everyone that I did.
Good.
Yeah,
Oh,
it went
that's
really
awesome.
well. It was fine. Like,
Good.
I don't know if this is going to lead to that lady like never cleaning a tooth again,
Sure.
but I won't have to see her. And now there's something on file. So if she does
Yes.
other stuff that people complain about, it exists.
Yeah. Oh, that's perfect. Awesome. Good job.
Yeah. And then my other two updates or announcements or bits of news are X-Files related. One is I don't know what to do with this document, but I found in my basement this old like little journal, not that old, it's from like the early 2000s, where during college, me and my friends decided we were going to write up the plot of every single X-Files episode that we watched. It did not keep up for that long because it turns out, as you and I both know, it is a lot of work to sit there and write down every plot detail for every episode. And back then, we were watching like two or three a night. So that was not
Wow.
possible. Yeah. So what I've got,
When was this? When?
I mean, I was living in the apartment with
Mhm.
Amanda, or maybe with Sarah, but like Sandy's handwriting is in it as well. So like that helps you kind of get a sense of time. I'm thinking
Yeah.
2003 probably.
Wow.
We have about 10 episodes, maybe more. Most of them are from season 5, which I'm
Oh.
guessing is just what was on cable right then. And then there's a few from season 1.
Whoa.
And
No
so,
kidding.
yeah, and they're just like notes about these episodes. I wish I'd had the
Huh.
season 1 notes before
Yeah.
before we talked about them. So,
Yeah. What, do you know why? Do you remember why
what
you
I
guys decided
recall
to?
is we wanted to create a detailed guide that could be a book.
Ah, okay. Sure.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know if in 2003 did a detailed guide to every single X-Files episode scene by scene exist on the internet?
Prob
Probably, but I guess we didn't
I don't
know of
know.
one.
Yeah.
We didn't have access to one. It certainly
Yeah.
exists now, but yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
Wow.
sure. I assume. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's
Um,
so cool that you found it.
yeah, yeah. I just
That's
found it
awesome.
like I was looking for, I don't know, Christmas decorations or something. And so I found that. And then the last thing is something that was going around Twitter. Now, as I was telling Helen before we started recording, I've been on social media lately because there's been a lot of crazy things happening in the writing community. But I won't get into that gossip here. Just allude to it. But the other thing that has been going around Twitter is that here's an article title from Tor.com. A 25-year-old X-Files mystery was solved on Twitter in less than 24 hours.
What? A mystery
Yes,
from the show, or are they just using it?
a mystery about an episode of the show.
Oh, okay.
So
What?
do you remember the episode Dreamland from, I want to say season 5? It might actually
Huh.
be in that book, or maybe season 6. Sorry. So it wouldn't be in the book.
Dreamland.
Um,
No, I
Dreamerland.
don't. Mm-mm.
It is, you will when I say this. It's the one with what's the actor's name? Michael.
Fassbender. I don't know.
No, he's either Lenny or Squiggy.
Oh, I don't know the actor's
Michael
names.
McKean. Michael McKean. Um,
Oh, no,
he and
really?
Mulder, he works at Area 51, and him and Mulder body swap, and that's how Mulder ends up with a waterbed.
Oh, I don't think I've seen that one much. I feel like that was one of the ones where we'd be watching them on DVDs and you'd be like, it's fine or whatever, and we'd skip
Oh,
to like a
interesting.
better
See,
one.
I remember loving that one.
Huh.
It's got a lot of like, because he gets in Mulder's body and he tries to seduce Scully, and Scully knows
Oh,
something's up. And then Mulder's in his body trying to figure out what's going on at Area 51. It's
oh,
pretty
whoa.
lighthearted, and it's a two-parter, and
Huh.
it's
No, I
crazy.
don't remember that at all.
Gosh. Well, apparently there's this scene in a bar where somebody walks in and there's this like country song playing that has these kind of mysterious lyrics, and it's just playing in the background of a scene. And the tweet that got this all started was someone saying, I heard the song, I kind of liked it. It had this kind of neat sound to it. So they use the like Shazam app to try to identify it. And Shazam finds nothing. So then they go on the internet and they find out that ever since that episode aired, which was in 1998, people have been trying to figure out what that song is that's in this scene. And so within 24 hours, people come together on Twitter and figure it out. And apparently it was created for the show. The quote is they eventually they find a cue sheet for the episode that goes through everything scene by scene. They find the name of the people who wrote the song, and then they eventually contact the guy who wrote it, and he says they our directive was we need a country song that could be about an alien or a human. Oh, and we need it in 4 hours.
So it was just written just
It
for,
was written for this episode. Yeah.
whoa. Oh,
Yeah.
wow. All right. Well
Yeah.
done, everybody.
So it's nice to see the X-Files, active on social
Yeah.
media and up to stuff.
Oh, that's awesome. Any news about our potential Marsy guest?
No Marsy guest updates yet, but that's more because I forgot to follow up.
Oh, that's fair.
But
It's the end of
just
the
like
semester.
just like I did with the dentist, I will also follow up here because this is a lot more pleasant than following up with a dentist.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any updates?
No. Been real sick, been real busy,
Yeah. Yeah.
really, really counting down the hours until this semester is done.
Yeah. By the time
Which
this
is
episode airs, your semester will be over.
That's true. Grades won't be due quite yet, but
No.
I might have them in. They might.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As I
Maybe.
tell my students, you want your grades back fast. The better you do, the faster I can grade them. So
Yeah.
just do really good and we won't have this issue.
Yeah, I decided and well, so a colleague of mine who's on my like mentoring committee for tenure, she recommended the book The Slow Professor, which I haven't read, but she said one chapter is about teaching. It's all about like she made it sound like it's kind of about doing the minimum. Well, so what she told me, yeah, was that the book talks about doing the minimum amount of work and while it makes sense pedagogically or something like that, like, not sacrificing your students' education, but like doing just enough for them to learn, but not putting extra work.
This kind of reminds me of people talking about in writing, you could keep editing a piece to death, but you might make it 2% better and you just spend hours on it. Why don't you just start something new or do something different? That'll be worth a lot more.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or like, as we've talked about, I think I once drew a graph for expensive jeans and how sure there's probably a relationship between expense and how they look, but at a certain point it's diminishing returns. Like it's just not worth it to spend more time. So
yeah, agreed. Yeah.
I mean,
about
I
the
will
jeans
say this
and in general.
Yeah. I mean, I think I don't know that I want to say anything about my current teaching philosophy while being recorded.
Well, I'll finish with what I was going to say is just that. So I made my final exam optional for one of my classes.
Nice.
Because they're taking their like final exam, not like the final exam, but like the last regular exam in the
Yeah.
class tomorrow. And then finals week is next week. And I was like, you just had an exam. So I'm going to let them replace an exam grade if they need to with an optional final.
Yeah.
And I was like, there we
Nice.
go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I did
maybe I
that.
will be done with my grading is my point, I guess.
Oh, yeah. I did that in one of my classes. I base it on how well they do on the unit exams. If they all do pretty well, then I feel okay about it because like they're
Mhm.
going to leave knowing some stuff. But if they do bad or I have other reasons that I'll tell you while not recording, then I make everyone take it. Oh, I guess I'll
Mm.
just tell you the reason. If I suspect but can't prove people have been cheating. Um,
Oh, sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
then that way I can watch them. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah. Fun stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's all I got. I've been busy. I've been sick. My
That's
family was sick before I was sick.
God. Yeah.
I did just get a manicure though. My nails look pretty
I
nice.
see. Well, they look really nice.
Yeah, thank
I
you.
also, I don't know. Well, before Helen and I started recording, I got to be with her as she went through the Taco Bell drive-through and she substituted, instead of the beef on the tacos, she got potatoes. And I just feel like that's the PhD. That's genius.
Yeah.
Everyone should know you can do that. You can just go get
Yep.
potatoes instead of meat.
And
Genius.
it's great.
Oh my God. That sounds
Excellent.
so good. So
Yes.
good.
I mean, it's delightful. Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
I could really go for
Taco Bell
tacos.
has a surprising amount of vegetarian and vegan options.
I remember
They're
hearing
honestly
that.
pretty good about that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and their potatoes are delightful.
I don't know that I've ever had their potatoes.
You've never had their Fiesta potatoes?
No,
With
they're
the
Fiesta
sour
potatoes.
cream and so I got potatoes on my taco and then I got a side of potatoes.
Which was just like a power move. I was just like, she's going for it. She's getting extra potatoes. This is great. It's like when you were a kid and you would dip French fries in mashed potatoes.
Oh, yes, when I was a kid. So they're like little fried potatoes.
They kind of look like breakfast potatoes in a way.
Kind of, yeah, but they're spiced differently. And then there's
Okay.
sour cream and nacho cheese. And
Are those the potatoes
delicious.
that show up on the taco?
Yes. Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
They look very good. The other thing I like is that sometimes if I order like Beyond or Impossible when I'm out, I feel like it's so convincingly tastes like meat. I worry it could be meat.
Oh, yes.
And it's scary.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
whereas with potatoes, you don't have to worry about that. You can
Exactly.
spot a potato. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Yep. I can spot it. No, never mind. I was going to try to sing that Kid Rock song, but instead say instead of I can spot a pig a mile away, I can spot a potato a mile away.
Yeah, sure.
But,
yeah.
Yeah. Episode? Okay.
Episode. All right. So here's what I'll say about this episode. Just a quick heads up that rape gets briefly mentioned in this episode, content warning. It's not the bulk of the episode, but just wanted to let you know before you dive into the bulk of the actual X-Files stuff. It didn't make me have a better day. It was kind of a downer. I did find out some interesting current research related to the episode, but I was like, this is not an enjoyable experience watching this. This is just kind of grim.
Oh, no.
I mean, it's okay. Like, because it opens with, it's at a convalescence home, Excelsis Dei. And, I mean, it's pretty much like, it's all old people. You find out it's an Alzheimer's specific place, but they don't seem to have Alzheimer's, the people. And there's like some orderlies what is an orderly? Do you know?
Yes. And sorry, I had to finish chewing my potato tacos. I was muted. No, hold on. I'm going to finish.
Yeah, absolutely.
That can cut out the chewing. The potato tacos can stay. So I believe orderlies are non-medical staff, so not nurses, not medical assistants or anything. That help with things like transporting patients and doing some of the like other tasks at hospitals and nursing homes.
Do they have a reputation for being evil, or is that my own bias because of a book I read once?
I don't.
You don't think of them as evil?
I don't. No.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
No, I think of
I
it as a very hard job that I would hate. That's
I mean,
all I got.
fair. The guy in today's
Yeah.
episode, while trying to get a woman to eat, I think, or no, a guy to
Mhm.
take a bath, he was like, "What do I care? I'm getting paid 5.50 an hour." And I
Oh
thought,
God.
this is about the time that I had my first job, or it's a few years before. Um, and I believe I was making 5.15 an hour to work at a
Oh,
bookstore as a 15-year-old.
oh my
So,
God. Oh yeah. Yeah. No.
pretty
No
grim.
thanks. Yeah.
Um, but I read this book. My first introduction to the concept of orderlies was in junior high. I read this Sweet Valley High book called Kidnapped with an exclamation point, I'm pretty sure, where Jessica and Elizabeth Wakefield are volunteering as candy stripers at the hospital. And one of the orderlies, who I believe is named Carl, that just came to me, gets obsessed with Elizabeth and he kidnaps her and he wants her to fall in love with him. And then the rest of them have to find Elizabeth and rescue her. And I know we had to do like these posters about the books we were reading or like our favorite book in like, I'm gonna say sixth grade. And I remember having mom help me imitate the cover of that book, which is like Elizabeth Wakefield being shocked while big hands grab her. Um,
Whoa, that is grim. That is
I-
like for Sweet Valley High, or
Sweet
which
Valley
one was it?
High, not
Okay.
twins. Sweet Valley High is when they're high schoolers, and like
Okay.
there's a lot of like,
Still.
I mean, it is grim, but it's also like, I don't know, there were people with anorexia, people with car crashes, people with
Mm.
evil twins, people
Ah,
with, I mean, it was very soapy.
okay. Okay.
Yeah, so
Wow.
this is not especially, I I'd be surprised if it was the only kidnapping in the whole series.
I think
Um,
I equate those books with The Babysitter's Club maybe more than I
yeah,
should because I
yeah,
read like one of each. Like I and one Nancy Drew. Like I never.
weird.
Well, I think what happened was that you were so much older than me that I mean technically still are, but
I'm still so much older than you. Yeah.
I caught up. That you started introducing me to books once I got into reading that were more at your level. And
That
so
makes sense.
yeah. So because I feel like I went from Harry Potter right to like Anne McCaffrey dragon
Yeah,
novels.
yeah.
So
I think that these are. I think Sweet Valley High would be older. Sweet Valley Twins in the Babysitters Club are very similar in tone
uh
and reading level and
okay.
everything. That's where they're
Okay.
in junior high somewhere, seventh or eighth grade, I think.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. But so yeah, so I'm already like, I don't trust orderlies because Carl kidnapped Elizabeth Wakefield. Um, and these ones are watching a boxing match. One of them is named Terry. He's a jerk. There's a nurse who kind of talks to them, seems to think they're jerks. She kind of is doing her rounds. And basically what happens is this old guy named Hal, one of the patients there, he's sharing a room with this other man named Stan, and Stan watches as Hal basically like sexually harasses the nurse, whose name is Michelle. He's like grabbing her, he's saying suggestive things to her, and she's like clearly heard it before from him, but she doesn't like it, but she's like whatever. And she like cuffs him to the bed with like Velcro cuffs, which I was like,
Whoa.
that's just normal. Excuse me, Jesus Christ. I didn't care for that. But then she goes to like change out the bedding on the room of this patient who died, and I'll just sum it up quickly. A ghost rapes her.
Oh my God. Really?
So
Yikes.
you also see right before that there's a guy named Gung who mentions the doctor and how, oh, he says it's okay for the patients to watch TV late at night, and the nurse says no, it's not. Anyway, so you see the start of her being attacked and no one noticing or hearing, which was upsetting. And then you see that Scully has somehow got a hold of this video that the nurse made trying to get attention about her assault. And she's like, this is what happened. She's suing the government. She is like, I need to be compensated. I need, like, she's like, I can't get workers' comp. No one
Sure.
believes me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and so Mulder and Scully go out there and they interview her, and she's like, "Look, I know who it was. It was this guy Hal, who is a creep, and I can tell it was him. I could tell, like I know him. I've known him for 5 years, and I know it was him, even though I couldn't see him." Um, and Hal is very dismissive of it and is like, "Oh, I'm an old man. How would I be doing that? How would I get out of the quarter? I was, cuffed in place or whatever." And you just see this weird look on Hal's roommate's face. So what I think is happening is his roommate knows something. He's going to rat him out. He's going to be like, "But I saw something weird happen that night. How did Hal get these powers?"
Is that not what happens?
That is not what happens. um, Mulder and Scully talk to the director, who's fairly dismissive of the woman. The director is like a fancy older lady in a scarf and cardigan, if you can picture that, like New England paisley scarf, well coiffed blonde hair, doctor. I don't know if she's a doctor, but she's the director of it.
Sounds
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, yeah, but she wasn't very good, nice. But because she's like, "Well, Michelle has started several other lawsuits, and we don't really believe her." And she mentions that Dr. Grego comes 3 days a week. And so now I'm like, Dr. Grego, he's up to something. He's causing this. Again, we'll see.
Also not true.
Also not true.
Okay.
Yeah. So then we finally see Stan, who is Hal's roommate, who turns out to have like, I don't know, kind of a goofy British accent. And I forgot to look up if the actor's actually British, because I could just imagine a scenario in which the actor was like, "I think I want to play this one British." I don't know why. Like, because there was no reason for him to be British. I don't know. It just seemed maybe it makes more sense that he actually is British. I don't know. Anyway, he's British and he's like, dude.
Are you sure he's
dude.
British? I once got, I don't know, a quarter to a third of the way through a Leanne Moriarty. Is that her name? The author?
Oh yeah. Yeah, the author of
Pretty Little Liars. Or no.
What the one
Big
with
Little Lies?
Big Little Lies. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I got a lot of the way through that audiobook. I had read books of hers before, but read them and was like, I couldn't figure out where they were from. Like I kept going like, these people have like such like low, like low class British accents, like working class, like, really like rough.
Did they say mate or
well, then they started talking about it being like going to the beach in December, and I was like, where in England can you go to the beach in December? And then eventually it was like, oh, okay, they're Australian. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I guess he could have been Australian. I've been watching a lot of British TV. I feel like I detected an actual Britishness, but I don't know. The point is, Stan says, I thought Stan was going to be like, "Hell, I saw you disappear the other night." No, he's like, "You got to be more careful. You're going to ruin it for everyone."
Oh my God.
Yeah. And then we see Stalin take a pill and refuse to give one more to Hal. And Hal's like, "I need more." And Stan's like, "You can't handle having any more."
Okay.
This like kind of big brown capsule. And then Mulder and Scully talking to the director. All of a sudden, one of the orderlies runs in and is like, "Hey, Hal is dying." And so they run in there, and Hal is laying on the bed choking to death while Stan goes, "I told you you couldn't handle anymore." Yeah. And so Scully calls for a defibrillator. Hal dies. I figure I'm okay with this because it's made clear he's the one who assaulted Michelle, the nurse. So he's dead.
Sure.
So,
okay.
Whatever. I'm not going to lose any sleep.
No
over
tears
the death
lost.
Of
a
so
fictional.
Hal's dead. Yeah, exactly. I'm not going to care about a fictional, terrible person for sure.
Rapist.
Yeah. I'm just somewhat gratifying. So he dies. You do see Gung kind of lingering creepily in the hallway.
And can you remind me, he's another person there? He's another resident?
nurse or an orderly.
Oh, okay.
And
Okay.
he's the one who was like, "Hey, Dr. Grego said they're allowed to watch TV until late," and Michelle, the nurse, was like, "No, they're not." And
Is
so
this like a
I
nursing
thought,
home situation? Like, is
yeah, they
that
called it a
okay?
convalescence home, but they mentioned that these
Hmm.
patients have been there for like years. And then we
Okay.
find out as Dr. Grego appears on scene because there's been a death, and he's like, "Ooh, his death is a setback," which is a hilarious way to express the loss of human life.
Uh-huh.
Um, but he's doing these experiments with this drug that, oh, you should see all my attempts to spell the word acetylcholine.
Oh,
Yeah, something to do with increasing
just
acetylcholine in the
just be
brain.
glad
And
you don't have to spell acetylcholine on the board, on the whiteboard in front of people.
God, that is such a good point. I don't like doing math in front of my students because
Yeah.
it goes
Oh
poorly
yeah.
generally when
Yeah.
people are watching you. But I never really have to
Spelling.
worry about
Oh,
spelling.
the worst. I mean, like, okay, I spell acetylcholine. See, here's the thing. I don't spell acetylcholine wrong. I can spell acetylcholine. I can't spell like
Parallel? That's one that always
parallel.
gets me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no. Or I was thinking even more basic. I don't know, like
Dog. Sorry.
I don't know. Words with lots of S's and there's a lot of me going, "Oh God, does this word have
Embarrass?
two S? Embarrass might be one,
Yeah.
sure.
I've
Yeah.
never had a good grip on embarrass. When there's like
Yeah.
multiple sets of double letters, I start
Yes.
to struggle.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, acetylcholine.
Yeah.
So that's fair that you can't
Yeah.
spell that. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I didn't even put a T in it in this time. So like I
Yeah.
don't know what I was thinking. So he says this drug
Okay.
that he's experimenting with is supposed to increase the acetylcholine in the brain. And Scully's like, "Well, I heard about this drug, but I don't really think there was anything that exciting happening." And he's like, "No, we're actually having really good results." And he seems on the up and up. He doesn't give off shady vibes. And I will say, everyone in this episode is basically exactly who you expect them to be as far as how they act. The
Hmm.
one orderly named Terry is a bad person. And Hal, who sexually harasses Michelle and the first time on screen, also bad. The
Hmm.
doctor, not that bad. It seems Gung, kind of shady.
Mm.
It
Okay.
just kind of, you get exactly what you see is what you get. And then the truly morally bad people die. And then you
Ah,
don't have to feel bad because that they're the ones who die. It's very
wow.
narratively convenient that those are the deaths that we witness.
Cool.
Um, so um Gung is then talking to Stan, and Gung's like, "You got to stop taking this so much. You're like, what I give you is enough. Stop taking any more. It's our secret, remember?" Which I
Hmm.
feel like in a writer way, has anyone ever said it's our secret just to remind someone once it's already been established that it's a secret? You don't usually have to
My
be like,
children, maybe. I
yeah,
mean,
I mean, like, I guess
when they
if
were
I'm reminding,
smaller.
yeah, like it's a gift for someone
Right.
or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah. It felt very much like now I need to let the audience know that I have a secret with Stan. Um, so then we see Leo and Dorothy, who are two other people who live there, and Mulder and Scully are just kind of trying to talk to some of the other residents who are in this program. And Leo is an artist, and
Does
Dorothy
he
is
get easily freaked out and runs out into the wild,
He
terrified?
did not, but I did feel a real kinship or like love for him, where I was like, we need to protect him and don't let him
Yeah,
accidentally get
Leo.
loose and run away into the woods. Like you're
Yeah.
Leo. Yeah.
Yeah, my big guy.
Um, and every time I wrote Leo, I thought about him.
Oh, good.
So um the woman Dorothy, I was like, I know this lady. I have seen this woman before. And so I finally had to pause the show and look her up. She is the woman who Jerry steals a marble rye from in Seinfeld, who like he rips it out of her
Yeah.
hands and runs away. So
Yeah. Oh, that's a great one. Yeah.
yeah. So they're talking and Mulder's like, "Oh, it's you're an artist. It seems like you've gotten better." And Leo's like, "Well, it's not the medication. No."
Hmm.
Um and Scully is like, "I think we need to do more investigations. I think there's a link between Michelle's attack and something about these drugs or maybe the building. I don't know. There's something going on here." And Mulder is more thinking based on the what the director said, oh no, maybe Michelle concocted the story. And I just felt like,
Hmm.
do better, Mulder. Be better. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know, but I watched that scene and I was like, David Duchovny is not being a very convincing here. And I just felt like I can see he's saying these words, and I just want to think the writer of this episode just needed a little bit of conflict. But I think the Mulder that we see most of the time, he might think it's something different than what Scully thought, but he would
Yeah.
think that it's something, you know. I don't think
Yeah.
he'd be dismissive.
No, that doesn't make any sense.
It
That's
didn't
not,
feel
that
right.
doesn't follow his character development, I think.
Yeah. Then I write, the orderly is a dick to Dorothy. I hope he dies. He
Oh no,
does.
he does.
Oh yeah. Um, and so we see Leo and Dorothy ask Gung for more medicine or more. We need more. And then Leo's like, well, I think Stan has more. And Stan's daughter is coming to get him.
May I interrupt quick? Is the medicine, do we find out more about it? Is it just acetylcholine? What?
No, 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 no. The
Oh, okay.
acetylcholine,
Okay.
the drug that Dr. Grigio, something, whatever I said his name,
Uh-huh.
Grigo. His medicine increases acetylcholine in the brain. You're gonna
Okay.
find out more about this other stuff that Gung's involved with.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Ah,
Would you like to
okay.
guess what it is?
I mean, I vaguely remember this one going
Okay.
on a hunch. I'm saying there are some sort of pills that allow these people with, you know, movement issues and disabilities to leave their bodies and be able to go do cool stuff.
That's probably a better episode than this is.
Oh,
Because that's what needs to be explained, right?
yeah.
So,
Okay.
okay. So basically, Stan's daughter is there. Let's go home. You've improved, and your roommate just died. It's kind of sketchy here. Let's get you home. And now Stan's like, no, I don't want to go away because he's getting these pills from Gung, but he doesn't want to admit that. Um, Stan runs off. Terry, the
Oh,
Bat Orderly, chases him through the halls. They're on an upper floor. It looks like Stan must have gone outside. So Terry steps out on this ledge, and then a ghost figure pushes Terry out the window.
oh,
Mulder
huh.
tries to save him. We see the orderly clinging on by his fingernails, and his fingers are like peeled up by an invisible person,
Ooh.
and then he falls to his death. Um, Again, this is something where this one incident alone would ruin my functioning for life if I were Mulder. Like, I just tried to
Yeah.
save a guy, I reached out for him, and I watched his hand get unpeeled from the window by something invisible, and he fell to his death. I'd be
Yeah.
done. I'm done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, at this point, we see that Michelle is trying to talk to the director and is like, "Hey, I need more assistance at work now that Terry, the Bat Orderly, is dead. I am like working by myself." And the director is like, "Well, what about, I think his name's Upshaw? What about Upshaw?" And Michelle, the nurse, is like, "Well, no, he just didn't show up at work." Um, we're gonna come back to Upshaw. I don't I'm realizing now I have some real questions about him. Some real questions.
Okay.
He is some other orderly. It doesn't matter. He's not at work though.
Okay.
And we
Upshot is?
see Upshaw. Yeah, he didn't show up
Okay.
at work. And so
Okay.
so we see Dorothy is yelling at invisible people in her room, and the director is very condescending about it. But then is like, and Scully's with her, and then we see these shadowy men standing around Scully just for a second, and Dorothy's like, leave her alone. Like, Dorothy can see them, but nobody else can.
Huh.
And then Mulder and Dr. Grigo look at the tox report from one of the dead guys, either Hal or the orderly. I'm not sure which, but they're like, there is ibotenic acid, hypotenic, ibotenic, a word like that. They say it a few times. I never fully got a grip on it.
Huh. Okay.
It's some
Not ringing any
acid.
bells.
Okay, yeah. And Scully says, well, small amounts can cause hallucinations. And I just would like a complete list of everything that they say can cause hallucinations because it is long.
Yeah.
Um, They then go to the art room and see that Leo has done this incredibly moving, haunting mural all over the walls.
Whoa.
And it just occurred to me now that I wonder if some X-Files plots are things that were intended to be movie ideas that never got off the ground and are now condensed for television and have Mulder and Scully tacked on. Because that is sort of the feel I get from this episode.
Interesting.
Yeah, it just hit me. I have no idea if that's real. Um, but it's a beautiful, creepy, surreal sort of mural.
Hmm.
And now things get real interesting because Mulder is like, I need to talk to Gong. I don't know why Mulder knows to talk to Gong. Maybe I was looking at my paper, but he does. The director's like, oh, he's in the basement. So we see Mulder lingering around this very creepy basement. He finds a padlocked door, so he busts the padlock off.
Ugh.
Would you like to guess what he finds inside?
Oh man.
You can have a few guesses if you'd like,
Okay.
because there's
Okay.
multiple
I would.
things in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Creepy tanks with fluid and some sort of body inside.
I'm gonna give you half points because there wasn't any fluid. He did find a body. It is in
Okay.
something else, though, not fluid.
Oh,
And there's something on top of the thing that contains the body. There's a whole lot of somethings.
wait, so it's not like in a tank like I'm picturing.
No, it's not in
more
a
like
tank.
a
It's more in a
body.
trough.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Huh. Oh, I can kind of like a okay. I can kind of picture that now. With but not fluid, but there's something else in there. Bugs? Are there bugs?
No,
No.
no. Mushrooms.
Oh, I
So
wasn't
he
I
is
wasn't gonna get
growing.
there.
So there's all these troughs full of dirt with mushrooms growing in them. And Mulder, and it's like this damp, drippy room. By coincidence, earlier today, I was chatting online with someone and a writer friend and brought up the time overnight a mushroom sprang up in the grout of my duplex.
Yeah.
I mean, that was so horrifying.
Yeah.
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 Because the writer friend had some sort of sprout up in her bathroom tile. And
Whoa.
and her husband was like, no, we need to kill it. And she was like, no, what if something magical happens? And I was like, no, what if you kill it and it comes back 10 times bigger and now it's angry?
Oh no.
So yeah. So Gung is growing a bunch of mushrooms in there, and um Upshaw, the missing orderly, is dead in the soil. And
Okay.
so the whole room, I mean, it had a look like, I don't know, like some sort of druggy grow room or something. Um, it also reminded me of this time that, like, ever tell you about the time when I was probably about 18? We drove out to, I want to say Harvard, and a friend's boyfriend who was part of our friend group, who I won't use the full name of, his dad had like a
Oh
building or
yeah. Yeah.
with all
The
the like tomato plants and like
oh no, I thought you were gonna talk about the breast pumps.
no, that was just where I was cleaning offices with was that was
Oh.
when I was yeah, it was a different friend's mom had a cleaning service. I worked for them. It was at a company called Medela, and I heard all these creepy noises in a
Oh my
dark
God,
room
it was for
once.
Medela? No kidding.
Oh yeah, do you know
I
Medela?
I have owned two of their breast pumps.
Oh my God. Yeah. I heard all these creepy
Wow.
noises in a dark room once, and I went in and it was a bunch of breast pumps running.
That's so creepy.
I assume they were doing some sort of like, I don't know, how long can they last sort of
Yeah.
testing or something.
Yeah.
It was creepy. But no, I think you've maybe combined the stories because it was about the
Okay.
same time. And yeah, we drove to Harvard in like the middle of the night and we like went in this
Harvard, Illinois, for people
yes,
listening.
Yes,
Just
Harvard, Illinois, not
yeah.
Harvard, the college.
Yeah.
And I don't know, we're in this old building. Why were we there? It was really creepy. I don't know why we were there, but we all got really scared. And there was a bunch of tomatoes being grown on the third floor.
Huh.
And then I remember I went in the basement and there was this like patch of soil and cement kind of leading to it. And I was like, this looks just like a dream I had with a dead body.
Ooh.
And everybody got
Ooh.
really scared and we ran out. And then people got mad at me when I told them the rest of the dream, which is that the dead body was actually nice and he came to life and we were swing dancing. So yeah, so it reminded me of that, which the more I try to get a handle on why I was there and what that story is, the less of a good grip I have.
Huh.
Why were we there? What were we doing? I mean,
I don't
we
know.
were exploring. It was like, let's do
Right.
something creepy in the middle of the night because there's nothing else to do. It might as well be
Yeah.
creepy. I don't know.
Yeah. Hmm.
So Gung is growing mushrooms, and now I'm thinking Gung is getting more time to talk, and I'm thinking he's not a very good actor, but also he's being saddled with a script that is doing that sort of, oh, he's from another culture. He's mystic and wise, and he's gonna say, wisdoms, and I didn't
Ah,
care for that. But
yeah.
it's, he's like, in my culture, we care about our old people. We respect them as we do our ancestors, and we take these mushrooms.
Huh.
He's like, I didn't kill Upshaw, but these mushrooms,
They did?
provide visions. Yeah, the mushrooms provide visions of spirits. And this is
Huh.
where I said, it was just like a bunch of mystical pseudo Asian crap where,
Mhm.
they're just like relying on the audience being like, oh, he is Asian and has ancient wisdom or something, which I did not
Yeah.
did not care for,
Yeah.
especially because it doesn't even hold up narratively at all, because the whole idea is these mushrooms make you see dead people, is the
Oh,
idea.
huh.
But these
Okay.
people were alive, so it doesn't make sense. Hal was alive when he attacked Michelle.
Was he? When did he die? How did he die?
He died after Mulder and Scully were already there.
Okay.
He took more of the pills and he died.
Right, 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 right.
Yeah. And like Stan,
Huh.
still alive when he pushed the guy off the balcony. But he's like, there's spirits in this place and now they're angry. Um, And so now Mulder and Scully are talking about it, and they see that someone has stolen Gung's whole set of pills. And um, Mulder's like, "Okay, Scully, you were right. This is something. It is this It's these mushrooms that are being like dried and put into capsules." And Scully says, "Mushrooms aren't medication. They taste good on food," or something like that. Which I thought, even I don't know. Weren't we just talking about how I forgot about the existence of hallucinogenic mushrooms? Like,
Yes. Yeah.
Scully does as well, I guess. And Mulder says, and get ready, Helen, because you're on deck here.
Oh,
Mulder
all
says,
right.
shamans have been using them for centuries. Ask any anthropologist. And I was like, oh, I got one. So,
I am any anthropologist.
mhm.
Um, I mean, yeah, sure, probably. Like
Yeah, yeah,
but yeah, I mean, people have been eating all sorts of hallucinogenic crap forever. I mean,
yeah.
like I can't think of a specific instance of that occurring, like, not as famous as like ayahuasca, right? Or something like that.
What is ayahuasca?
Um, so I mean, ayahuasca is a plant. And if you want to talk about spelling, I was just confirming that on Google, and trying to spell ayahuasca was embarrassing, if
Does
anyone
it
saw.
have an H?
It does. Uh-huh. For the w part of it.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
HU.
Okay. Tricky.
Yeah, it's a plant. I'm not getting too much more information from a very
Okay.
brief scroll.
Okay.
But so I mean, like, yeah, people will use all sorts of hallucinogenic stuff for stuff. And as far as any anthropologist knowing that, I feel like, yeah, I guess. Sure.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I felt like, okay, but that's not the same as saying people can turn invisible. It's not that at
Yeah.
all. It's not at
Yeah.
all the same as that.
Yeah.
Um,
Ask any
so
anthropologist. People can turn invisible when they eat mushrooms.
yeah, exactly. So then we see a bunch of different shots, the spirits lingering around people. Dorothy tells Stan's daughter to run and save herself. As I noted here, there appear to be a total of maybe 10 people in this whole building. That is Mulder, Scully, staff, Stan's daughter, and all the patients. I don't know, 10, 12 maybe in
Wow.
this giant building. Um, and so, another thing I'd love to track at some point to get data on is how many times we see someone lifted into the air and thrown. or just
Oh,
generally levitated, because that's what
uh-huh.
happens to the nurse here. And Mulder goes in to save her. She's in like a bathroom shower sort of place. The door locks behind them, and all the taps turn on, and the room starts filling with water because the
Ooh.
doors are apparently airtight. I
Huh.
don't know. I just feel like there's no way, right? I mean,
No.
I don't know. So
Yeah.
the finale of the episode is everyone attempting to get them
Wait, we're
out of
close.
this room.
We're close
Yes.
to the finale of the episode.
Yes.
I feel like we have no information though.
That's true, Helen. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
The
All
room is
right.
filling up with water. Michelle is kind of not with it because she was thrown against the wall by a ghost. The water main is stuck, which did a ghost do that? I don't know.
Hmm.
Um, and then at the same time, Stan's daughter is like, help, and Stan is choking in the same way that um Hal originally was, and Scully's like yells for Dr. Grigo to get an injection of, I believe, acetylcholine from Dr. Grigo, and that counteracts it, and Stan lives. And then
Huh.
finally, the water gets heavy enough, the pressure gets big enough that it bursts the door open, and Mulder and Nurse Michelle are okay. Stan is alive, and then Dorothy from Seinfeld says, "They're gone. They're all gone."
Okay.
Where'd they go? Why'd they leave? I don't know. Maybe because Gunn got found out? I don't know. And who's they? Is it dead people? Is it manifestations of the spirits of the living people there? They
I have more questions too. And like, so uh, do you have more to go? Like, can I make, should I save my questions?
I mean,
Is
I
there
will,
more
yeah,
information?
we now just have Scully's report.
Okay, well, tell
That's
me what
it.
Scully says.
Well, Scully says that the Massachusetts Department of Health took over. The place seems better. It seems more bustling, but unfortunately, without Gung's drug, everyone has regressed. It seems like without the mushrooms. And so there's like a really depressing scene of Leo and Dorothy sitting together, and Dorothy isn't able to talk, and Leo can't draw anymore. And
Oh,
Stan isn't able to talk either. And it's just like they've all regressed. Dr. Grigo was removed. Gung is being deported back to Malaysia, and it just ends on this incredibly depressing note of these people being like locked in their bodies, basically.
ugh,
Even though they've got a better standard of care without these special anti-Alzheimer's mushrooms
huh.
from,
Well,
mystical places, they can't do anything.
see, this is my question. Okay, so I
Okay.
feel like we have, from what I'm understanding, maybe I'm incorrect. I feel like we have two different drugs that are being talked about in this. We have the
Yes.
mushrooms that are being
Yes.
crushed up, and then we have some sort of just acetylcholine or something to
Yes. Something that,
stimulate it.
yes, yes.
Um, and apparently that counteracts the mushrooms, and the mushrooms make people healthy and ghosts. Am I
Yes,
getting this
yes,
right?
yes. It makes them healthy and it makes them ghosts.
Okay.
Yes. Hmm.
Acetylcholine, do you know what that is? Should I give a quick
No,
primer?
please.
Okay.
Because I have some more to say about it, about some stuff I was looking up, because
Oh,
apparently there is some Alzheimer's research that uh, acetylcholine, increasing it can help with Alzheimer's symptoms
oh,
in some
really?
ways. Yes.
Oh, that's interesting. So it's a neurotransmitter. So neurons are
Yep.
nervous system cells
I'm like, okay,
present
back it
in,
up a little. There we go.
yep,
Neurons
yep,
that I can handle. Yep.
neurons. Yep. So neurons, they're present in our brain, spinal cord, nerves throughout our body, responsible for, being able to touch and feel things and pain and move our body
Hmm.
and stuff. And so acetylcholine is a neurotransmitter, meaning that it's a chemical a signaling chemical that is released from neurons. Okay. That's what
To talk
neurotransmitters are.
to each other.
Yeah. To talk to each other
Okay.
or to talk to other things. So acetylcholine,
Okay.
one of its big jobs, and the one I'm most familiar with, is the fact that it stimulates muscle contraction.
Oh, okay.
Acetylcholine will be released from a motor neuron, so a neuron that goes to a muscle, and the
Okay.
acetylcholine being released from the neuron tells the muscle to contract.
Okay,
So
so
if
like
I,
I'm playing Derby, let's say.
yeah,
It's before a jam starts. I see the jammer out of the corner of my eye. The whistle blows. What is happening is some sort of thinking neuron is like, there's the jammer, you should hit her. And then on some level I can't detect, other neurons are like, hey, contract those leg muscles so that you can roller skate over towards the jammer. And
yeah, I
then
mean,
muscles
kind
are
of.
like, okay.
So we have like in a really simple diagram, we have like three neurons in communication with each other. So we have a sensory neuron, an integration neuron or an interneuron, and then a motor neuron. So the sensory neuron is picking up information. So that could be sensory neurons in our eyes sensing light, or sensory
Okay.
neurons, like you touch something and it's hot. And that brings information to an interneuron, and those are present in our brain and spinal cord. And those are essentially like making the connections and telling things what to do and organizing the information. And then
Okay.
that sends it out through a motor neuron to affect some sort of movement or change
Okay.
potentially.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. And so acetylcholine is a really common neurotransmitter in the body. And so it's important for things like muscle contraction. It's also, I mean, there is acetylcholine in the brain. It's like one of the upregulated ones. Like it's I want to say stimulant. That's not quite the right word, but I'm not a neuroscientist.
Yeah.
I only
Play one
teach
on this.
one on,
Button.
yeah, I don't
Sure.
know where that
Yeah.
was going. Yeah. um, so yeah, like activating. That's the word I'm going for.
Okay.
Activating as opposed to like GABA, which you might have heard of,
I
which is like
have.
suppressing.
Okay. Okay. Um, so you know what else? There is research about how it can help with Alzheimer's.
Huh.
Well,
Okay.
no, I said that wrong. I'm sorry.
Oh,
You're going to guess. Guess what other
oh.
thing I found a
Mushrooms?
yes,
No
mushrooms.
kidding.
Yeah. Now,
Really?
I was looking at this article from 2023 called Tracing the Path Between Mushrooms and Alzheimer's Disease, a literature review. So it was a literature
Huh.
review.
Uh-huh.
And as far as I could see, it was a lot more about like supplements and not like hallucinogenic mushrooms, just like
Yeah.
other type. Like it mentioned
Oh.
lion's mane mushrooms,
Hmm.
and like uh the honestly the wording was too technical for me to manage it.
Okay.
Um,
Sure.
but it seemed legit. I don't
Yeah.
know. I was like, okay, there's stuff here. There is something where there's a relationship somewhat newly discovered that mushrooms can help with Alzheimer's.
Huh.
Not even hallucinogenic mushrooms, just other ones. And
Wow.
then I also did find, I was like, well, what sort of medicine do we have for Alzheimer's nowadays? And there's some real new one that's very promising, where if you can catch it early, it's something called lecanemab mab. I don't know. It's got
Huh.
a different name, but
Yeah.
it can slow or even stop like the plaques that form on the brain with Alzheimer's, I
Oh,
guess, if you
wow.
start it early. And it's just very new, so that seems promising. It's not
Yeah.
mushroom based as far as I could tell. That because that was what I was trying to find out. And
Huh.
then we also know, like, there's a ton of research, especially at some places here in Madison, about using mushrooms, using like psilocybin mushrooms for treatment-resistant depression, that
Right.
is really promising. So I feel like
Yeah.
that's one of those dated things for Scully, a doctor, to be like, "Pff, mushrooms, like
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
is a thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
in a bunch of different ways. So yeah, but yeah, your questions about the episode. I have no answers. Who killed
Okay.
Upshaw? That's what I realized midway through. I was like, how'd that
Oh,
body get in those mushrooms? Did I miss that? I don't think so.
huh.
I guess the implication is the ghosts, but why? I don't know.
Yeah. Right.
It
Why
wasn't a
were
good
they?
episode.
Yeah. Okay. Oh man.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I feel like you've been not
I
getting the
know.
great ones lately.
I know. I got the short end of the stick. And
What's
this one,
next?
unfortunately, unlike three, which I hated so much that it was fun. This
Yeah.
one was just it was just depressing. I mean, it was like you know,
Mm.
real life depressing stuff, and then it didn't make a lot of sense. I don't know.
Yeah.
I was not pleased.
Oh
Um,
man.
I remember season two having better episodes, but I think I'm just not getting them. So what is up next? Oh my God, I just saw what one I get after this. It's
Oh
not,
no.
no, it's not a bad one. It's okay. So what's next is Aubrey, which
Oh, I have no idea
is
what that is.
it it's one that is, I mean, this is a well that the X-Files visits over and over. Crimes from the past still seem to be being committed. How can that be? It's not Toombs because he was crushed in an escalator incident.
Yeah.
So, it's this I think you're gonna be a good person to watch it because it's got stuff about like genes and
Ooh, cool.
personality and stuff.
Ooh,
Um,
great. Great.
yeah, my next episode, oh God, oh God, oh God. It's irresistible. Oh.
I forgot that was season two.
Yeah, I was
I
just
didn't,
wondering
I
when it
was,
was coming.
yeah. Oh man. And if you don't know why we're so horrified, you will be. You
Hmm.
will in a few weeks.
Yeah, I mean, people generally say that Home is the scariest episode of the X-Files, which I don't know that I ever let you watch,
No,
which
I
sounds
don't think so.
ridiculous now. It's very much like a horror. It's got a real Texas
Yeah,
Chainsaw Massacre vibe.
that's
But
what I hear.
I think that Irresistible and its like partner episode like later
Yeah.
on, which I can't think of the name of right now. Those I think are the scariest. Donnie
Yes.
Pfaster, scariest
Yep.
X-Files villain, easy.
Yep.
So,
Yep. 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 Agreed. Yeah, it like really plays into all my like semi-Catholic fears, like the very specific.
oh yeah, I will. So I think it's the second of the two with Donnie Pfaster that really digs into
Okay.
that one because that's got a
Okay.
a priest and it's got
Yes.
some other
Hmm.
stuff. Although
Hmm.
does the first one as well?
I don't remember as much. I know I don't remember as much. You'll have to
Okay,
tell me.
yeah, I'll tell
Yeah,
you.
watch it during the daytime.
Watch it during the day.
Oh man, I'm kind of
Yeah,
jealous. I kind
I'm kind
of
of scared. So I don't
maybe
know.
maybe well, you know what? The holidays are coming up. Maybe we can watch it together
Maybe we
at
should watch it
mom's
together.
house.
At
That
Mom's
might be
house,
fun.
we can't let Mom watch it though.
No.
It's scary for her. Okay. This is a fine Christmas tradition. Like
Yeah.
to watch the scariest episode of the X-Files. Oh God. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh
Okay.
man. Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I just like I looked up the episode title list and was like, "Oh my God, it's irresistible."
Oh,
Oh.
I'm so excited. I can't wait.
Yeah, yeah.
I want to I want to talk about it now.
I know, I know. I'm like,
Awesome.
let's discuss it now. It's
Yeah.
terrifying. Um,
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
mhm.
yeah.
It's
And
one
I
of
feel
those that
like
makes me
there's
think if I were Scully, I would be moving into the biggest, busiest apartment building ever where I'm never
yeah.
alone. Like
Yep.
after all the stuff that
Yep.
happens at her house. Mm-mm.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Although then you have to worry about like ghost elevators and,
Not what I thought you were gonna say. I thought you were gonna say, then you have to worry about people in your apartment building killing you. And I was gonna say, yes, reasonable. But now, do you bring up ghost elevators because of that terrible X-Files episode, or do you feel those pose a real threat? I mean, what I guess I mean is, were you referring to that X-Files episode, or were you just
Yes.
bringing them up? Okay, all right, gotcha.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
Yes.
Um,
I was referring to that. Yeah.
yeah. Also, I'm so glad you brought that up. A little coda here at the end. That terrible episode. I can't think of the name of it. What was the name of that terrible ghost elevator? And not
Ghost in
ghost,
the
the
Machine.
Ghost in the Machine. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
all the
Right.
electronics. So there is this movie called Maximum Overdrive from the
Hmm.
80s, late 80s, before X-Files. It's the only movie Stephen King ever directed. Did he direct it? I think so. He was involved. He wrote the story. I
Huh.
think he directed it. And they talked about it on an episode of How Did This Get Made? And it basically seems like a very similar idea, except it's mostly cars that are taken over, but it's also other machines like
Huh.
uh I don't know, a sprinkler. They debate a lot, is a sprinkler a machine? And like
Oh.
cash registers and like a lot of things. And it was also, again, reminding me of that episode from this season with Apple Fest. I can't think of the real
Right.
episode's name either. Um, Blood, where I'm like,
Yes. Yes.
it both Blood and Ghost in the Machine have a very similar vibe, it sounds like, to the movie Maximum Overdrive, or maybe not
Huh.
vibe, but concept behind them of like
Ah,
machines giving you messages. I guess in Blood they tell you to kill, whereas in Ghost in the Machine they do the killing themselves, and in Maximum Overdrive they do the killing themselves.
yeah.
So it
Hmm.
it sounds like a very bad movie. Uh, so
Wow. Yeah, it
yeah,
sounds like it. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, I
I
wanted to mention that.
huh. Yeah, I'm generally not interested in machines getting evil. I don't know. I just like for the like genre of horror or mystery, or I'm just not afraid of robots. I'm just not.
Yeah. I
Like
mean,
I'm not afraid of technology taking over. Maybe this is going to be like 20 years from
ironic.
now. Yeah, yeah. But I'm just I don't know. I'm not.
Yeah. I sent
Doesn't
Adam
doesn't
a
bother me.
text the other day when I was in bed asking him to bring me a cup of tea, or I said, "Can you make me some tea?" And he
Hmm.
texted back cup or pot. And then Google gives me all these or maybe not Google, I don't know. My phone gives me all these options of responses I might want to send to the question cup or pot. And the suggestions were yes and both. And so I was like, "No, you're not there yet. I'm not worried about you guys yet." So,
Oh, any geese update? Have you been, or
oh,
not
you know
geese?
what? I'm
Wait.
gonna check the geese right now.
Oh, yes, but actually, I was thinking about when I was the rescue donkeys, or what are you
No
trying to get?
rescue donkey updates.
Okay.
I'm trying to get
Okay.
rescue donkeys to show up on my phone.
Yeah,
Nothing,
nothing
which is
yet. Okay.
irritating because I get so many other ads that I swear are from things I'm saying about, but no rescue donkeys at all, which is very vexing.
Too
I'm gonna
bad.
check. I'm
I
gonna
bet they're
check right
cute.
now. I know there's no way for me to know because I can't
Oh.
Google it. I can assume based on other pictures of donkeys.
Yes.
Um, all right, so mm, no, it seems like Keep It Goose, which has been out for not quite a week now, has a normal amount of downloads, not
Okay.
a surprisingly high thing. So maybe goose-shaped glassware did not get so big because of the word goose.
Maybe because
Maybe
it's
it's
like,
about glassware.
oh,
No.
yeah. I was gonna say maybe because it's like one of the most famous and best X-Files episodes.
Maybe, but you wouldn't know that from the title of the episode. And again, it has got like almost 5 times as many downloads as our other most downloaded episode, which is our first one.
Wow. Huh.
It's weird. Something's going on. It was
Yeah.
shared in maybe the animal glassware community. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll do some
There
more
is
research.
sometimes, I don't know if you ever get this, where like you hear of your students taking classes and feel like, man, I want to take that class.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, like there is this semester, I have a bunch of students taking a like scientific glass blowing class or something like
Whoa.
that, where they're like making
Oh my God, how cool.
labware, like
Are they going to
making,
make Erlenmeyer flasks?
I don't know, but I know that like I saw one of my students in the elevator, not no ghosts were
I
present,
was going to say, was it
and
haunted? No, okay.
I not that I know of, and she was holding some glassware, and she was like, "Yeah, I need to go do some. I don't know. Like it looked like regular glassware. I don't know if she made it.
Whoa.
I kind of got the impression she might have been melting it. I don't know. I don't know what's happening, and I don't know where it's happening.
Oh,
Like,
yeah, because don't they need something very hot?
yeah, yeah. So
Like
I don't know.
oven or a kiln or something? No.
Yeah, I mean, if you have you watched those glassware or glass competition shows?
No, you've told me about them, but I never have.
Oh, they're pretty good.
Yeah. Huh.
But yeah, like a giant furnace, not
Okay,
just
yeah.
like a
Like the one in
regular.
the Burbs.
Yes. Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, maybe
Interesting.
glassware
Scientific glassware.
is key.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, maybe it's all no, there's still so many downloads. It couldn't just be the students in that class watching that episode. This was my brief theory. All right, more research. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. All right, sounds good. Well, rate, review, subscribe, and
Do all those
send us.
things. Send us
We
to
haven't had a
groups about
listener.
geese.
Yeah, we haven't had a listener story in forever.
Oh yeah, that's
So
true. Send us
get
some.
on it.
What's something creepy
Yeah.
that's happened to you? How do you feel about technology? Is it going to kill us? Has it killed you? Are you a ghost because you ate a mushroom? I don't know. Kill us.
Until then,
That's all. All right.
bye.